Hello everyone, today we're gonna do 2016 May-June paper 4 variant 1. Let's do it. Now question 1. Kristen and Stephanie or whatever this is, share some money in the ratio 3 to 2. Kristen receives $72. Work out how much Stephanie receives. Okay. Now Kristen is 3. And we also know that Kristen receives $72, which means that 3 equals $72. And now they want to find out how much Stephanie received. And we know that she received 2. Using cross multiplication method, we can get the answer. 2 times 72 divided by 3, which is $48. Okay. Now Christian spends 45% of his $72 on a computer game. Calculate the price of the computer game. 45%. Okay, now 75%. I mean $75 is 100%. 45% is how much? Cross multiply. 45 times 75 divided by 100. That would give you $32.4. Okay. Now Kristen also buys a meal for $8.40. Calculate the fraction of the $72 Kristen has left after buying the computer game and the meal. Give your answer in its lowest term. Okay. So now $72 minus the computer game price, which is 32.4, minus the meal he bought just now, 8.40. That would give you $31.2. And now they want this as a fraction. So $31.2 over his total money that he had, which is $72. Write down its lowest term. It's going to be 13 over 30. Okay, now Stephanie buys a book in a sale for $19.2. This sale price is after reduction of 20%. Calculate the original price of the book. Okay, now we know that $19.2 is actually a reduction of 20%, which is 100 minus 20, 80%. Okay. And now calculate the original price. They want the original price. The original price is of course 100%. Cross multiply and you get the answer. 100 times 19.2 divided by 80. It would be $24. Okay. Now question B. Boris invests $550 at a rate of 2% per year, simple interest. Calculate the amount. Okay, it's just a basic simple interest question. This is the equation, PRT over 100. And now the interest, they want to, okay. Now P is the amount he invested, which is 500, times R, which is the rate, which is 2. The time is 10 years. Now over 100. And key that in the calculator and you will get the answer, which is I equals 110. But notice here, they don't want the amount of interest, they want the total amount, the amount Boris has after 10 years, which is the interest plus his original money that he invested, which is 550 plus 110, give you $660. Now question C. Melanie invests $550 at a rate of 1 point. Okay, that's a compound interest question, which is A P equals P 1 plus R over 100 to the power of T. That's the equation. And now let's fill that in. P is 550. 1 plus R is 1.9 over 100. 10 years, which is the time. Key that in your calculator and you will get 663.9. Okay, that's it for this question. Now moving on. Hans invests $550 at a rate of X% per year compound interest. This question is also compound interest. At the end of 10 years, he has a total amount of $638 correct to the nearest cent. Find the value of X. So use the same formula for the compound interest, but now it's a bit different. We know that B equals 550, and the total amount is 638.30 equals P, which is 550, times 1 plus R, which is X. We don't know, we have to find this, over 100, 10 years. Alright, now simplify that, divide both sides by 550 to get rid of the multiplication, and you will get 1.16 equals 1 plus X over 100 to the power of 10. And now we want to get rid of the power. How will you do that? By taking the square root of 10 for both sides. The square root will cancel the power, and now we'll end up with square root of 10, 1.16. It's going to be 1.014 equals 1 plus X over 100. Take that one to the other side. You will be left with 0.014 X over 100. Multiply, and you'll get X equals 1.4. Okay. Now question 2. Draw the image of triangle T after a translation by vector 5, negative 2. Okay, now let's start with this point. 5, that means it's a positive 5. So 5 to the right hand side, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Negative 2, which means we're going to go down by 2 units, 1, 2. So this is the point. Okay, for the second point, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. It's right here. And then just improvise. We know that this one's here. This is after translation. Okay, draw the image of triangle T after a reflection in the line y1. Draw the line y1 first, which is this one. This is the y-axis and this is 1, so it's this. Draw a dotted line there. Okay, now we're going to reflect it on this line. So how would we do that? Calculate the space between this shape and the reflection line, which is y equals 1, which is 1, 2, 3, 3 units. And now you count 3 units here, 1, 2, 3. So this is the first point. Now the second point, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Same goes for this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the reflection. Okay, now describe fully the single transformation that maps triangle T onto triangle Q. Okay, the single transformation is an enlargement, as you can see, but how would you know the details of that? How would you describe it? By doing this, connecting the lines, extend. Okay, now again connecting the points which are similar and extending the line. Don't forget to extend the line. And for the last one, oh, this is pretty hard. Okay, yes, now we know that the center of the enlargement is right here at this point, which is -6, -5. Okay, now let's describe it, which is enlargement. First let's state that it's enlargement. Enlarge sorry for the bad handwriting, but you know what I mean. Scale factor equals, how can we know the scale factor? By counting this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and now count the identical one for the object. 1, 2, and so 6 divided by 2, and you'll get the factor, scale factor, which is 3. So if you multiply 3 to that 2, you'll get 6, which is the image. That's what it means by scale factor. The center is negative 6.5. Yes. Alright. Now matrices. Work out M plus P. 1, 2. Plus P, which is 1, 3, 0, 6. Equals 1 plus 1, 2. 2 plus 3, 5. 3 plus 0, 3. 4 plus 6, 10. These are basically free marks, so make sure that you don't make a mistake in these ones. Alright, P is 1, 3, 0, 6, and M is 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that you write these matrices with the order that they gave you, which is P first and then M, because that differs in matrices, unlike normal numbers. Okay, now you multiply the rows by columns, which is 1 times 1 is 1, 3 times 3, 9, that means it's 10 here. 1 times 2, 2, 3 times 4, 12, so it's 14. 0 times 1, 0, 6 times 3, it's 18. And so for the last one, 0 times 2, 0, 6 times 4, 28, 24. Sorry, so 10, 14, 18, 24. Determinant. This brackets right here means that they're talking about the determinant. So the determinant of M equals the determinant of N. So let's find the determinant of M first, which is 1 times 4 minus 2 times 3. 4 minus 6, which is minus 2. Let's find the determinant of N now. 4 times K, 4K, minus 3 times 1, which is 3. Okay, now let's equate them. My negative 2 equals 4K minus 3. Take negative 2 to the other side, it's going to be 1 equals 4K. Divide by 4, divide by 4. K equals 1 over 4. Okay, now describe fully the single transformation represented by the matrix 0, negative 1, 1, 0. Okay, for this one, it's a rotation 90-degree anticlockwise centered 0, 0. It's a rotation 90 anticlockwise center 0, 0. For this questions, actually all you have to do is just memorize. For this one 0, negative 1, 1, 0, it means a rotation 90-degree anticlockwise center 0, 0. And for a matrix that looks like this, 0, 1, negative 1, 0. Let me write all the matrices for the rotation. 0, 1, negative 1, 0, and the other one is negative 1, 0, 0, negative 1. Okay, for the first one, it's a 90-degree clockwise center 0, 0. For the second one, it's 180 clockwise center 0, 0. So just memorize this. Now for the II, find the matrix which represents reflection in the line y equals x. It's basically 0, 1, 1, 0. Let me give you all the matrices for the reflection, which is 1, 0, 0, negative 1. And the other one is negative 1, 0, 0, 1. The other one is 0, 1 1 0. The last one is 0, negative 1, negative 1 0. So basically 1 0 0 negative 1 is a reflection in the x-axis. The second one is a reflection in the y-axis. Y-axis. For the third one, which is this one, is y equals x, reflection y equals x. And for the last one is y equals negative x. Yes, memorize these, it's not that hard, and you will nail these questions. And now question 3a, 200 students estimate the volume of a classroom. The cumulative frequency diagram shows their results. Okay. Now find the median, the lower quartile, the interquartile. Okay, now the median is basically 200 divided by 2, which is 100. Right here, so this 100. You draw a line until it reaches the graph, and then you draw a line to the x-axis, and that is your answer, which is 400 meter cube. And now the lower quartile. So I have a nice way on solving questions like this. The cumulative frequency is 200, right? So now let's divide this into quarters, which means 200 divided by 4, and you get 50. So 1 quarter is 50. So now 20, 40, 50 is somewhere here. This is 50. Now this is the lower quartile. This is the first quarter. Which is 350. If I'm not mistaken, yes, it is 350. And now the interquartile. What is the interquartile? It's basically the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. So we need to find the upper quartile, which is, now this one is lower, this one is the median, and now the upper is 150, which is somewhere here. 150. You draw a line. Sorry, it's not straight. You guys do it to the ruler, of course. And that would equal 420. 420. So it should actually be right here. Okay, 420. This is the upper quartile. So this is the upper quartile, which is 420, minus the lower quartile, which is 350, and you get your answer, which is 70 meters cube. And now the number of students who estimate that the volume is greater than 300 meter cube. Okay, how we do this? So it's from here, right? This is 300 meter cube onwards. So you draw a line from this 300 into the graph, and from the graph you draw a line to the y-axis, which is right here. And now this is actually 30. It should be 30. Okay, now 30. And now from here, they want from here until there 200, because it's until 500. So if you draw a line, it's already drawn. So yes, 200. 30 to 200. 200 minus 30, and you get your answer, which is 180, I think, right? 200 minus 30, which is 170. 170 students. This is actually the easiest method to solve these kinds of questions. Right now, the 200 students also estimate the total area of the window in the classroom. The results are shown in the table. Calculate the estimate of the mean. Show you working. So the mean is the how to calculate the estimate of the mean. Now let's find the average of the area for each one. 20 plus 60 divided by 2, and you'll get 40. 60 plus 100 divided by 2, you'll get 80. And 100 plus 150 divided by 2 is 125. 150 plus 250 divided by 2 is 200. Okay, now that we have the average, is the average times the frequency for each, 40 times 32 plus 80 times 64 plus 125 times 80 plus 200 times 24. All of this over the total number of students, which is 200. Key that in the calculator and you'll get 106. I think that's easy enough. And now complete the histogram to show the information in the table. Frequency density. Notice here the y-axis is frequency density and that one is area. How to calculate the frequency density? Basically, FD is the frequency over the area, or sometimes not the area, it's the time or whatever this is. So it's always the frequency over the average of the area or the time or whatever. So for the first one, it's actually 32 over 40, which is 0.8. And do this for all the columns here. This is for the first one, which is 0.8. It's somewhere here. This is 0.8. How to find the value of each unit here? It's actually 1. So let's count this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Divide 1 by 5. 1 divided by 5, and you will get that each one is 0.2. Each unit is 0.2. So 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8. Okay, now 0.8 starts from 20. This one, same thing. 50, and there are 5 units. 50 divided by 5, it's 10, 10, 10, 10. So this is 20. Starts from here, and this is 60. And now you draw a straight line from 20 to 0.8, and you draw a straight line from 60 to 0.8. Okay, and now let's do that. Let's do for the rest. 64 divided by 80 divided by 64. Sorry again, 64 divided by 80, and you will get 1.6, which is 1.2, 1.4, 1.6. It's here. Just draw a dot right here. You draw a line from there. Okay. And now it's from 60 to 100, right? So it's here. So draw a dot like this. Okay, now moving on to the next one is 80 divided by 125, which will also give you 1.6. So you extend the line from 100 to until here, and then you draw a line. Yes, this is how it should look like. And now 200 students of the 200 students are chosen at random. Find the probability that they both estimate that the area is greater than 100 meter square. And so look at this graph, more than 100 meters square. So from here onwards, which is from 100 to 150. So how many students are there who estimated? Which is 80 plus 24, which is 104. 104 over the total number of students, which is 200. And now times, this is the first student, and now the second student is going to be 103, because we already picked the first student, right? So what's left is 103 over 199, because as I said, we already picked the first student, so The students who are left are 199, not 200. And your answer would be 1339 over 4175. Okay. Now question 4. Calculate the volume of a metal sphere of radius 15 cm and show that it rounds. Okay, now to 4 significant figures. Calculate the volume of the sphere. Now we have the radius of the metal sphere and we have the volume equation. Okay, that's all we need. Now volume equals 4 over 3 pi r square, r is 15, so r cube, and that would give you 141.37.1669. Now 4 significant figures. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we look to the next number. If it's more than 5, then round. 7 is more than 5, then round. It's going to be 14140. That's it. That's what they want. Don't forget the unit, centimeter cube. And now the sphere is placed inside an empty cylindrical tank of radius 25 centimeter and height 60 centimeters. The tank is filled with water. Calculate the volume of the water required. So what are we going to do here is that basically we're going to find the volume of the cylinder first, of this cylinder, and then minus this circle from inside the sphere to find the volume of the, because they want the water, they don't want the volume of the shape itself, so they want the water. So yeah, that's how we do it. So now the volume of the cylinder is basically this circle, the area of the circle, times the height, which is the area of the circle is, so volume equals pi r square. That's the equation for the area of the circle, right? Times the height, which is h, times h. So pi r is 25 square and h is 60. That would give you 117,809.7245. Okay, now this is the volume of the whole thing. Now minus this, so 117,809.7245. And the reason why I write so many decimals is for the accuracy of the answer, final answer. The more decimals you write in the working, the better. So minus the volume of the sphere, which is, we found it here, 14137.1669. That would give you 106.7256. That is your answer. Now moving on to the next question. The sphere is removed from the tank. Now calculate the depth. Okay, now they took out the sphere. They want the new depth now, the depth. So basically we know the volume of this water. So we write it down here. 0.56 equals the volume of the cylinder is basically, as I said, it's pi r square, the area. We know that the radius here is 25. Pi r square times the depth, which is d. Now we have an equation here. Divide both sides by pi 25 square to get rid of the multiplication, and you will get your answer. D equals 52.8 centimeter. Don't forget the unit. Okay, now moving on to the next question. C, the sphere is melted down and then the metal is made into a solid cone of height 54. So basically it's a cone now. The height here is 54 centimeter. Calculate the radius of the cone. Now they want this, which is, let's say it's x, or just let's name it r because it's a radius. R. Now calculate the radius of the cone. Okay, now the volume, we know the equation for the volume, and we know that it's the same object melted down. That means the same volume of the sphere. The sphere, we know the volume of the sphere, which was 147.1669. Yes, this is the volume, equals the equation for the volume of the cone. 1/3 pi r square. H is 54. And now let's just work this out. It's basically 1/3 times pi times 54 is 56.548 r square, and this one's the same, doesn't change. Divide both sides by this number, 56.548. Divide that number by 56.548, and you'll get r square equals 250. Now square root both sides to get rid of the square. R equals square root of 250, which is 15.81. Okay, now the next question. Calculate the total surface area of the cone. And so the surface area of the cone is basically the surface area of the circle plus the curved surface. That's the total surface area. And now to find the total surface area of the circle, which is, let's name this 1 and this is 2, and so for 1, what we're going to do is, circle, it's 2 pi r, right? Now 2 pi r, oh sorry, the area, my bad, 2 pi r is for the circumference. The area is pi r square. R, as we know, it's 15.81. We just found it out just now. Square. That would equal 785.26. And now for number 2, which is the curved surface area, it is basically the height. Now we need they gave you the equation for the curved surface area, right? But first we need to find L, which is the slant height. How would we do that? We need to find this right here. How would we do that? It's basically a triangle. If you look at it, it's like this. Sorry. It's like this. We know that the height is 54, and we know that the radius is 15.81. We can easily find that by using the Pythagoras theorem, which is 15.81 square plus 54 square equals L square, which is L for the slant height. Use the calculator and you'll get L equals 56.26. Okay, now that we have the slant height, we can use this equation right here to find the area of the curved surface. Pi r is 15.81. That one is 56.26. 1,727.94.354. Total area is 2794.354 plus 785.26. That would equal 3,579.61. That is your answer. Now question 5. Okay. Complete the table. You get here 9, substitute the values 5 in these equations and you'll get 9 and 10.5. And then plot the graph and connect the dots. You'll get something that looks like this. Now from here it goes something that looks like this. Yes. Alright, now what's the question? The question C. Using your graph, solve the equation fx equals 11. Now you go back to the graph, you go to the fx axis, which is the y equals fx, and go to where 11 is. 11 is right here. Here's 11, and you draw a line in that axis. And you'll get two solutions, which is when the line intersects the graph. Here's one, and this is 2, because it intersects it twice. And the answer you'll get is 8.8 and 2.4. 2.4. And question D, k is a prime number and fx equals k has no solutions. Find the possible values of k. Now we do know that the prime numbers are 2, 5, 7, 2, 3, 5, 7, 11, etc. Right? So you go to where the graph is and ask yourself, where would you, when you draw a line and you get no solution. So if you draw a line here, there is no solution because this line does not intersect any graph. So that's what they mean by that. But of course they want prime numbers, so you draw a line here at 2. 2, if you draw a line at y equals 2, you'll get no solution. And draw a line in 3, here you'll get no solutions either. 5, same thing. 7, same thing. 11, oh sorry, 7 is, yeah, 7 is there, same thing. 11, there is. So it stops at 7. But of course it's same thing from here as well. To negative 2 and negative 3 and negative 5 and negative 7, because there are no solutions here as well. So the answer would be plus or negative, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, positive negative 5 and positive negative 7. And now E, the gradient of the graph of y equal fx at the point 2, 12 is negative 4. Write down the coordinates of the other point. So it's basically at the point 2, 12, which is around here. Sorry. This one, this point right here. If you draw a tangent here, it's going to be, this is gradient, and that point is negative 4. So they're asking for what? They're asking, write the coordinates of the other point of the graph. Yes, write the coordinates at the other point of the graph where the gradient will also equal negative 4. That would of course be in the identical graph right here. You draw a point at the same point, which is negative 2, negative 12, which is right here. The graph should look like this actually. The graph should look like this. Not like this. Yep, if there's a line here, tangent, the gradient of the line would be negative 4. So it's negative 2, negative 12. And now Fi. The equation fx equals x squared can be written as x cubed, blah blah, show that p equals negative 1 and q equals negative 2. And so the equation fx equals x squared looks like the equation up here, which is fx equals 20 over x plus x. So if this equals fx and x squared also equals fx, that means that 20 over x plus x equals x squared as well. Now equate them. 20 over x plus x equals x squared. You multiply all by x to get rid of the denominator. You will get 20 plus x squared equals x cubed. And as you can see here, x cubed is positive, so you don't take x cubed to the other side. You take these to the other side. So it's going to be x cubed minus x squared minus 20 equals 0. And so p is negative 1 and q equals negative 20. And then right here shown. On the grid opposite, draw the graph of y equals x squared for negative 4 to 4. Y equals x squared is a quadratic equation, right? Because it's x squared. So a quadratic equation, you draw it in a graph, is going to be a parabola shape like from -4 to 4. That's the range you get. So basically just get any key in any number from -4 to 4, that's the range. So let's start with -4. -4, if you substitute in the equation, y equals x squared, which is y equals -4 squared. Find out y. The point you'll get is 16. So the first point is -4, 16, which is somewhere here. Again, -2, substitute in this equation to find the value of y, and the value of y would be 9. So 9 -2 to be somewhere here, and now and now 0. If you substitute 0, it's going to be 0 on both sides, so the center is 0. And now 2, same thing, is going to be here, and 4 is going to be 16 again. And you draw this curve right here. Of course, you guys draw it better because you're using a pencil and a paper. That's how the shape would be, like a curve right there. Okay, now using your graph, solve the equation x cubed minus x squared minus 20. So how would you solve the equation using the graph? It's when the two graphs intersect each other, which is at that point. When this graph, the curve, intersects this right here, that's your solution, which should be 3.2. Draw a line to the x-axis to find. It's the intercept, the intersection of the both equations, curves, graphs, is 3.2. Okay. And now the diagram shows a sketch of the graph y equals x cubed minus x squared. Okay, point P is n, 0. Write down the value of n. So as you can see here, it's 0, y equals 0. That means it's x-intercept. It intersects the x-axis. That means if you substitute 0 here to find out the value of n, you get x cubed minus x squared minus 20 equals 0, which is exactly as this, right? And we already found out that this equals 3.2. So n equals 3.2. That's the x-axis intersection point. So now the perimeter of the rectangle is 80 centimeter. The area of the rectangle is a. Okay. And now we know that this is x. Let's name this y. Okay. Now we know that 2x plus 2y, 2x plus 2y equals 80. That's the perimeter, right? And so let's write y in terms of x. How would you do that? Make y the subject. So take 2x to the other side. You end up with 2y here, 80 minus 2x, divide by 2, divide by 2, y equals 80 minus 2x over 2, which is 40 minus x. Y equals 40 minus x. Now this 40 minus x is y in terms of x. Okay, now with that we know that. Find the area of the rectangle. What's the area of the rectangle? Area of the rectangle equals y times x, but we already know that y is 40 minus x times x. Yes, now that is the formula. Show that x squared. Okay. Oh, okay. Just expand the bracket. You're gonna have 40x minus x squared equals a. Now write this like this. So here, notice here the x squared is positive, so you take x squared to the other side. X squared, the a is also positive, so you take the negative 40 to the other side, negative 40x plus a equals 0. Shown. Okay, now when a equals 300, solve by factorizing the equation. Okay, so the equation would look like this if we substitute 300 with a. Equals 0. So what they want is factorize. There's 3 marks here, not the 3 marks, so you have to factorize showing your work. How would you show your work here? This is a bit complex equation to factorize, so you use your calculator. There's a neat trick that I know. Of course most of you know that, but let's explain it for the sake of everyone. Now you press mode on your calculator, and then you go to where there is equation, which is 5, and then click 3, which is written ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. That's the equation form, right? So press 3 and then key in the values in the calculator. For a it's 1, then click equal, and for b it's negative 40, and then click equal, press equal, and then for c it's 300, and then press equal, and you will get for the first one x equals 30. So what that means, it's positive 30 here in the calculator, it's written positive 30. So change it into negative 30. And then click equal again. You'll get x2 equals positive 10. What you do here is the same thing, change it to negative. So now when you find now you know that x equals 30 and also x equals 10. See, it's simple and easy. And we already show our working, so they'll give you the 3 marks without you having to do anything, just using your calculator. And now question I. Now when a equals 200, solve by using the quadratic formula. Okay. Now the new equation looks like this: minus 40x plus 200 equals 0. Using the quadratic formula is negative b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Substitute the values. Negative b, and here it's negative 40, so negative cancel each other, which is 40, plus or minus square root of negative 40 square minus 4, a is 1, c is 200, over 2a. And so work out the square root first, so you get 40 plus or minus square root of something over 2, that is 800. And now sorry for this one, we're going to solve it in positive. The second one, write it again, 40, but this time in negative, square root 800 over 2. Now x equals, and x equals. Key that in your calculator and you'll get the first value is 34.14, and the second one is 5.86. Do they ask you in this question decimal places? Yes, they do. 2 decimal places right here. So make sure it's 2 decimal places. Yes, as I did right here. So it's 34.14, and the other answer is 5.86. Right, done. We got 4 marks now. And now B. A car completes 200-kilometer journey with an average speed of x kilometer per hour. The car completes the return journey of 200 kilometer with an average speed of x plus 10 km. Okay. Now there are 2 journeys, so let's write here first journey, and then second journey right here. Now for the first journey we have the distance, we don't know the speed, and we also don't know the time. But then let's write the time in terms of x, which is the speed. So it's 200, t equals the distance, which is 200 over the speed, which is x. So this is the time for the first journey. For the second journey, the time equals 200, the distance didn't change because it's a return journey, over the speed, which is x plus 10. And now what's the question? Show that the difference between the time taken for each of the 2 journeys is this right here, in hours, right? Notice that the speeds are also in hours, kilometer per hour. If it were otherwise, we would have needed to convert them into meters per second or meters per minute. Anyways, so luckily it's easy, it's done for us, it's kilometer per hour. For this first journey, the difference, that means it's negative, you're gonna minus them together. But the question here is, what do you put first, 200 over x minus 200 over x plus 10, or vice versa. So obviously it's 200 over x minus 200 over x plus 10, because simply 200 over x plus 10 is less than 200 over x. We don't want a negative answer, we want a positive answer. As shown here, it's a positive answer. Okay, now we have this equation, we have this. Now let's simplify that. We have to find the common denominator. How will we do that? You're gonna multiply each by each other, then multiply by each other. So your answer would be x plus 10 multiplied by x. And so this 200 is multiplied by x plus 10. So 200 x plus 10 minus 200 times x. Okay, let's simplify that. 200x plus 2000 minus 200x over x plus 10. 200x will cancel with negative 100x. You'll end up with 2000 over x plus 10, which is exactly as they want, right, shown here. And now find the difference between the time taken for each of the journeys when x equals 80. Now that give you answer in minutes and seconds. We have the equation t equals 2000 over x times x plus 10, and now we have the value of x equals 80. Substitute 2000 over 80 plus 10, which is basically, using a calculator, you'll get 15 over 8, so 5 over 18 hours, but they want the answer in minutes and seconds. So convert 5 over 18, convert it into minutes, 60 times 60, you'll get 16.66. This is in minutes, right? But they want minutes and seconds, so we know that the minutes is 16, right? We know that, so let's write 16 here. But the seconds is 0.66, so I have 0.66, so this one right here, multiplied by 60 to convert it into seconds form, because this 0.66 is minutes form. Convert to seconds by multiplying to 6 by 60, you'll get 39.9999, which is 40. So it's 40 seconds. Okay, now question 7. Alright, I love this kind of question. OPQR is a rectangle and O is the origin. Okay, M is the midpoint of RQ. Alright, and RQ and PT, and PT, TQ equals 2 to 1. So we know that PQ equals 3, because 2 plus 1 is 3. And PT is 2, so PT is 2 over 3. And the Q2 is 1 over 3. Okay. And we also know that parallel lines are equal, so OR should equal PQ. That means PQ is also R. Or sorry, in others, 2 over 3 R. We know that PT is 2 over 3 R now, and TQ is 1 over 3 R. Okay, and OP also equals RQ. RQ is also P. And so M is the midpoint. That means the RM is half, and MQ is half. Half what? Half P. Yes, right here. Okay, now after we've done this, now let's start the questions. What do you want? Find in terms of P and symbols for MQ. MQ equals, where is MQ? MQ, okay, we already know that, it's half P. So it's really important to actually analyze the given and write it down on the figure. That helps you answer much faster. And MT equals This one empty. Notice the root empty and the direction. That means empty is like this. This is the direction of empty, and OT is this, because O is the origin, starts on the origin. It points to that direction. These are really important, the directions, and you know they're parallel, so they have the same direction. And as for this as well, same direction. Okay, you have to settle the directions before you get started to the working. Empty, where's empty? Empty is right here. And so how to find that empty? We can go MQ minus 1 over 3R. Why minus? Because as I said, the directions are really important. Because if we didn't know the direction, we would have said plus 1 over 3. But actually minus, because the direction here is pointing that way. And we're going from MT to QT, which is opposite direction, that means negative. So right here, MQ plus QT. But of course not plus, it's minus, because opposite direction. MQ is P, sorry, MQ is half P minus QT, which is 1 over 3 R. That's your answer. And now OT. OT, where is OT? Yes, it's this line right here. OT. How to find OT? OT is basically OP plus PT. We know OP and we know PT. OP plus PT. OP is P. PT is 2 over 3R. See how easy it is? And now RQ and OT are extended to meet at U. Find the position vector of U in terms of P and R. Give your answer in simple form. Okay, this question is actually quite tricky, so pay attention. RQ and OT are extended. So OT, this line right here, and RQ is extended. So let's extend them as they said. And yes, U is right here. This is the point U that they want. And what do they want now? Find the position vector of U. What does that mean? Position vector means OU, because it's stated here that O is the origin. So the position vector starts always from the origin. So the origin is O in this case. OU, that's the position vector. They want to find OU, this line right here from O until U. How can we find that? OU, we're gonna go like this. OR plus RU. That's the only way. OU equals OR plus RU. We know that OR equals R plus RU. Now let's find RU. How can you find RU? RU, this line right here. That's the tricky part. Now pay attention again. OM, draw a line from O until M. Okay, it's gonna point this way, of course, because it starts from the origin. So OM is basically R, OR plus RM, which is R plus half P. Am I right? This is the equation for this line. And so OM also equals P, PU, because they are parallel. It's like a parallelogram right now. And so PU also equals, and when two lines are parallel, that means their position their equations are the same. R equals half P. Yes, now that we know PU, we can find TU easily. Let's find TU first. Let's find TU. Let's write TU here. Let's find it. TU is basically, it's basically this line, PT plus, sorry, TU is PT plus PU. That's the equation of TU. But notice that we're going to the opposite direction of the line. That means it's going to be negative. So let's start with the positive pu minus pt. Pu, we just found it, it's r plus half p, minus pt, it's negative 2 over 3r. Okay, and now simplify that. Negative 2 over 3 plus 1 is okay. Let me use the calculator for this. Sorry. 1 minus 2 over 3. It's 1 over 3. So it's 1 over 3 r plus 1 over 2 p. That's tu. And now to find ru, we're going to find qu first. How to find qu? Qu is basically, you move it here, qu is basically, equals qu is negative qt plus tu. Why negative again? Because it's opposite direction. We're going to the opposite direction. It's right here. Qt plus tu. We know qtu and we know qt. Qt plus tu. And now qt is 1 over 3r. Tu is 1 over 3r plus 1 over 2p. Simplify that, 1 over 3, 1 over 3. Qu is gonna be, minus 1 over 5r, 1 over 3r, because we're going to the opposite direction. So this will cancel this. You'll end up with half p. Qu is half p. Okay, now ru is basically rq plus qu. Qu is half p as well, and rq is p, so it's p plus half p. It's p plus half p, which is r plus 3 over 2. What is it? Yeah, 3 over 2p. That is your answer. Careful, make sure that you rewind and make sure that you understand, because this might come in the upcoming exam. It comes a lot actually, and it's a bit tricky. And now moving on to question C. MT is 2k minus k, and okay, MT equals 180. And now that means you're gonna have to use the equation I square plus j square, because they want the magnitude of MT. But they already gave you which is 180 equals 180. So I square, I is 2k, so it's 2k bracket square. Oh, sorry, my bad. It's minus. The equation here is minus, not plus. It's minus. J square. J square is negative k square equals square root of 180. Okay, now let's simplify. 2k square. The square is for both, so it's 4. 2 square is 4, and k square. And negative k square is basically k square, but minus k square equals 180 square root 180. And now what you do here is basically you square both sides to get rid of the square root, and this square will cancel the square root, so you'll end up with 4k square minus k square equals 180. 4k square minus k square is 3k square equals 180, divide by 3, both sides, divide by 3. You have k square equals 36, so square root k equals 6. Okay, that's easy enough, but of course pay attention to how I did it, and I hope you understand. Okay, now question 8. Solve the equation fx equals g1. So basically, let's find g1 first. Let's just write it down. Fx is 2x plus 1 equals g1. G is this, so it's 1 squared plus 4, because we substituted 1, it means substitute by x, right? With x, sorry. Why am I apologizing a lot? Damn it. So it's 2x plus 1 equals 5. 2x equals 4 divided by 2 divided by 2, x equals 2. Okay, now find the value of h3. For these kinds of questions, you start with h3 first. h3, where is h? Okay, h2 to the power of 3, which is 8, and then you substitute 8 in f. So f8 is 2, 8 plus 1. 2 times 8 is 16, plus 1 is 17. That is your answer. And now find f inverse. Let fx equals y, and so y equals 2x plus 1, and then substitute x with y. X equals 2y plus 1. Make y the subject, which is y. Take 1 to the other side and divide by 2, which is x negative 1 over 2. And so that is the inverse. F inverse x equals x negative 1 over 2 equals. Now find gf x in simplest form. So basically put the function f in the function g. So what is the function g? G is x squared plus 4. Put 2x1 in that. So gf is, what was it? X squared plus 4, sorry. So it's actually x squared, but then you don't write x squared because you're going to put that inside, 2x. The function f 2x plus 1. Square plus 4. Okay, now expand the bracket. How will you expand this? It's going to be the square first, which is 4x squared, and then the middle term is 2 times 2x times 1, which is 4x, and then square of 1 is 1 plus 4. 4x squared plus 4x plus 5. That is the final answer. In a simple, that is the simplest form. Okay. And now solve the equation h inverse x equals 0.5. H inverse x, the function h is, if you don't remember, was 2x. And now, that's a bit tricky now. Solve the equation h inverse x. 2x. Of course, that's an exponential. You can't, the syllabus, math syllabus does not cover finding the inverse of an exponential function. So there must be a trick here. Yes, what you should know, you shouldn't know how to find the inverse of the exponential function, but what you should know is the relation between the inverse and h inverse and h. So basically h, say it's x and y, and h inverse is going to be y and x. What happened here is that they switch side. X equals y and y equals x. What I mean is the inverse of h equals the x in the hx function. What I mean, when I show you the working, I think you might understand. So let's get started. It's x equals to 0.5, 0.5, which is the inverse. The inverse is equals x. Please basically do as I do and memorize what I did just here if you didn't understand, and I'm sure that a question like this won't come. And if it came, you know how to do it, because I just shown you just now. 2 to the power of 2, 2 to the power of 0.5 is 1.41. That is the answer. And now write down the value of k. 1 over h. Okay, so basically 1 hx is 2 to the power of x equals 2kx. And so when it's 1 over 2x, you know that it's 2 to the power of negative x equals 2kx. And when the bases are equal, the indices should be equal as well. So negative x should equal kx. And so you use the comparing method. Negative 1, there should be a negative 1 here, right, but we don't usually write it because 1 times x is x. So basically negative 1 equals k. Okay, that's one mark question. And now finally the last question. That took too long. It's a 2-hour-and-a-half exam. Don't know why is it that long. Anyways, no. The diagram shows a curve with the equation x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1. A is the point 40 and b is the point 02. Okay. Find the equation of the straight line that passes through a and b, which is this right here. That's the straight line that they want. Find the equation. And how to find the equation of a straight line? What you need is a gradient and a point and a gradient. We have 2 points here, so all I have to do is just find the gradient. The gradient equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. y2, which is 2, minus y1, which is 0, x2, which is 0, minus 4, 2 over negative 4, and simplest form is negative half. So that's the gradient. And now using this to find the equation, y minus y1 equals m, y1 equals m, which is the gradient, x minus x1. Y, now choose either point, 0, 2 or 4, 0. Let's just take 0, 2. Negative 2. M is the negative half. X minus 0. And so simplify that, y equals negative 2 move to the other side, but first negative half. X, negative 2 move to the other side is going to be positive 2 plus 2. And so that is your answer. That's an easy 3 mark that you should get. Show that a square equals 16 and b square equals 4. So this is a bit tricky question, right? What you should do here, now this is the equation. What you do here is you find the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So you write here x-intercept, and then you write here y-intercept. And what I mean by this y-intercept is when x equals 0. So when x equals 0, and the x-intercept is when y equals 0. So let's start with the x-intercept when y equals 0. So you write everything x squared. So when y equals 0 is going to be 2. Right, so write 2 right here using the graph. This is the point 2. 2 square, which is the equation, over, where is it, a square, plus y equals 0, right? So 0 right here, square over b square equals 1. So simplify that, it's going to be 4 over a square plus 0 over anything is 0 divided by anything is 0, so this is gone, which is equals 1 now. A square apply, so it's 4 equals a square. Okay, now that oops, sorry, my bad. And now you have the equation x square a square plus y with y square will be square equals 1. Now the x square is 16, which is 4. X is 4. Here's the point. So I substitute the point in the equation, which is 4. 4 square over a square plus y equals 0, right? So 0 square over b square equals 1. And so 16, 4 square is 16 over a square plus, actually 0 divided by anything is 0, so this is gone, equals 1. And so 16 equals a square. That's what they want to show, so you stop right here. Now moving to the y-intercept when x equals 0. So you do the same thing, but when y is 2 here, right? So I substitute y, the point y in the equation x, so x equals 0, 0 square over a square plus 2 square over b square equals 1. And as I said, anything divided by 0 is 0, so this is gone. 2 square is 4, 4b square equals 1. And so you multiply both sides by b square and you'll get 4 equals b square. Okay, and that's exactly what they want us to show. So you write shown right here. Now moving on to the next question, question B. P is the point 2k and Q is the point 2 negative k are points on the curve. So, okay, find the value of k. How would you do that? You basically substitute this point in this equation and you substitute, because as you can see here there are two unknowns, and two unknowns, what does that mean? There are two unknowns in the equation. How to find these two unknowns? You basically need two equations. So you first start with the first equation by substituting the first point, and the second equation is going to be substituting the second point. Actually, we don't need that second equation, so it's actually the first equations. Oh my god, I'm so tired. Anyways, the first point. Substitute the first point in this equation. So x equals 2 plus y square is k, so it's k square over 4 equals 1. Okay, now 4 over 16 is basically 1 over 4 plus k square over 4 equals 1. Multiply all by 4 to get rid of the denominator, and you'll get 1 plus k square equals 4. Take 1 to the other side, it's going to be k square equals 3. Square root of k equals square root of 3. Done. That's the value of k. I hope you understand that. I really hope so. So now calculate the angle POQ. POQ is where? Okay, so basically there's a line right here. And there is a line right here. So they want this angle right here. POQ. This is the angle they want. And now calculate the angle POQ. How can we calculate this angle? So if you connect P, the point P and the point Q together, you will see that you have a triangle right here. And so in order to find a triangle, let's divide these two triangles. They're basically two identical triangles. This triangle right here and this triangle right here. And so we know the point P is 2k. K is square root of 3, so let's write it down. 2 is square root of 3. And so this, until this point, it's 2. And here it's square root of 3. What does that mean? That means that this height is square root of 3 and the base is 2. And now we know two sides. We can easily find this angle. How are we going to do that? By using tan, which is tan, the angle, which is, let's name it theta. Tan theta, which is this, theta, is basically the adjacent, sorry, opposite of your adjacent, which is square root of 3 over 2. And so theta equals tan inverse and square root of 3 over 2. Key that in your calculator and you'll get the answer, which is 40.89339. But this is only this angle theta. They want POQ, which is 2 theta times 2, which is 40.89339 times 2 equals 81.78. That is your freaking answer. And so the last question, is it? Yes, it is the last question. C. The area enclosed by the curve with the equation x squared over a squared plus y squared over b squared equals 1 is pi ab. Find the area enclosed by the curve, which is blah blah blah. Give your answer as a multiple of y. Okay. At first glance, this question seems hard, but do not be afraid of the form of the question. It's always dumb in the end. So yeah, let's read this again. The area enclosed by the curve, blah blah blah. Okay, yeah, as I said, the question is dumb. Because a square is 16 and b square equals 4. And the answer they want is pi ab. So it's just basically pi a. So notice 16 is a square. That means a equals 4 and b is b square, right, equals 4. B equals 2. So a is basically 4 times 2, which is 8. 8 pi. That's the answer. No wonder it's 1 mark, because it's easy. 8 pi. And now the last question. A curve mathematically similar to the one in the diagram intersects the x-axis at 12, 0 and negative 12, 0. Work out the area enclosed by this curve, giving your answer as a multiple of pi. Alright. Okay, this seems a bit tricky. So, and the keyword here is actually mathematically similar, which means this is a similarities question. So basically what they're saying here that this new curve is like something like this. And x-axis, if you extend the x-axis, this point right here is going to be negative 12, 0, and this point right here is going to be 12, 0. So basically these are two similar, which means that this point 4, 0 of the first curve and negative 4, 0 are mathematically similar to 12, 0 and negative 12, 0. And so what is the relation between these two? It's basically a multiplication of 3. The scale factor is 3. Multiply by 4, multiply by 3 is 12. So now in similarities you always have to find the scale factor, right? So the scale factor here is 3. Okay, now we know that the area enclosed of the first graph is 8 pi. Okay, but first a equals 4 as we said earlier and b equals 2. So you basically multiply a, let's find the new a. The new a must be 4 times 3, which means it's 12. The new a is 12 and the new b is, which is a here, the new b is 2 times 3, which is 6. B equals 6. And now we're using the equation that they gave us, pi ab. It's basically pi times 12 times 6. 12 times 6 is 72, so the answer is 72 pi. I really hope you understand. I don't know if my communication skills is good enough for you to understand, but I really hope you understand. And thanks for watching. That's the end of that, and yeah, that's it.